Doug,
Thank you.
could you, I mean, there is a point being made here about the charter, and you are a county attorney.
Absolutely.
Do you agree that it does say in the charter, the new charter, that this falls under the county executive?
It does say that.
So do you agree that by putting it in social services right now, that would have to be something that would immediately have to be looked at by the county executive? And it would have to take time up on his plate, because we're just done something that directly goes against charter. And that's what the charter says, that if a resolution or local law is conflicting with a charter, it can't. So this is going to actually put it right on his plate, right square in front of him.
It certainly would afford the county executive the ability to change it to some other method of operation other than what you have here, if he so chooses to do so.
Well, that's not my question. The resolution tonight, because he isn't in office to make that decision, that goes exactly against what it says, because it says the mail is in the county executive's hands, not the
Well,
social
he doesn't
service.
feel it should be there, you can change it January 1.
Exactly.
January 1st to change
So
it.
it makes a lot of sense to pass a resolution.
It's
to
why
look
we're
at
changing
it.
it now.
That's right. We couldn't pass any rules of procedure for the legislator to get started with, for the legislature. We couldn't do any homework for them at all to help them get off the ground. Everybody refused it. But we can go ahead and tackle it. Now we want to help the legislature out and the executive.
I wish you wouldn't use everybody when you,
Well,
Yep.
further discussion, Supervisor Coddington?
I guess listening to all the conversation, I guess I'm correct here to say then, because I'm a great believer in the charter and I want to follow it. But I assume that on January the 2nd, our new county executive, he can meet with Mr. McMahon and Mr. Claiborne, and they can look that mail thing over, and if the county executive wants to recommend that, he can send that on to the legislature and they can do it. It sounds to me like a very good idea. I have no problems with the changes made there to get the reimbursement, but I do have a problem with circumventing the charter, and I think, as Tom has said, it seems like we've had a lot of people here, a lot of people, first of all, didn't believe the charter was going to pass, but I had a lot of people here that believe, that we shouldn't touch anything there, don't look at it, don't have people come in, anything whatsoever. All of a sudden, now we want to start tampering, but I won't support the resolution just for that reason. I think it's a great idea, but
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Supervisor Rashkowski.
Yes.
Supervisor Sweet.
No.
Chairman Thayer.
Yes.
Supervisor Stagliano.
No.
Supervisor Barone.
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler.
Yes.
Supervisor Chayera.
No.
Supervisor DeMeza.
Yes.
Supervisor Allen.
No.
Supervisor Sullivan.
Yes.
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 Supervisor Strebe.
No.
Supervisor Paddington.
no.
Supervisor Quackenbush.
no.
Fail.
Next up is a resolution to amend 2014 budget and move the position from DPW budget to the Department of Social Services, sponsored by Reshkowski. We need a second. We still need a second. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second for discussion.
Barone? Okay. Supervisor Reshkowski.
I'll put my resolution, my sponsorship for that.
Anybody else want to pick it up? Moving along. Resolution amended 2014 tentative budget, Board of Legislature County Executive, sponsored by DeMeza. We need a second. Supervisor Stagliano. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, Supervisor Strebe.
Well, I have one question. Has the county executive-elect had a chance to look at these numbers and he agrees with it?
No idea.
I know, I had a conversation with him.
I'm wondering where the need came from. I'm assuming somebody thought of that.
I'm sorry about this, these are the resolutions that.
They give you there was a
Oh, yeah.
You got $3 million.
Administrative aid. Sure, yeah, the administrative aid is For what I'm looking for in the office, that was what I expressed as a reasonable figure as far as the type of person I'm looking to bring into the office. That's of the most concern to me, that one solid person in the office that I can count on. I do think the senior account clerk typist position would be helpful, especially in that first year, to have that extra resource there in the office should I take essentially my secretary to meetings, to have another person in the office. And those are the two most important things for me on this list.
Thank you, Chair.
Supervisor Stagliano.
Yeah, Chair. I had a conversation with the new elected county executive, and I expressed to him in the hallway the same concerns that the staffing that's in the budget is not adequate for someone to operate the day-to-day operation of this county and be away and have projects done. You weren't going to do that with a confidential secretary. I didn't discuss the equipment rental and lease, but I agree with it. Because if the person is going to be doing the job, then there's a vehicle that should say Montgomery County on the side, you know what I mean, and it should go out and it should represent Montgomery County. So I have absolutely no problem with that. So having said that, I agree with everything that's on there.
Further discussion? Supervisor Quackenbush?
I need a clarification on that 5,800, but my question is that enough?
It's a lease vehicle for
I mean, is it?
per year.
Covered?
50 a gun.
We're planning on-
The Mets is leasing his. You give him a nice 2006 Rainier. Yeah.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. Accepts a resolution amending 2014 tentative budget, county clerk, sponsored by Demeza. We need a second. Supervisor Stagliano. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. Next up is a resolution amending 2014 tentative budget purchasing, sponsored by Demeza. We need a second.
I'll second.
The second it.
This basically puts that position in there for 3 months until the legislator decides to change the charter and in that position.
I agree.
I agree.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. Next up is a resolution amending 2014 tentative budget, youth, ATI, and veterans services, sponsored by Quackenbush, seconded by Wheeler. Discussion, Supervisor Quackenbush.
This was the resolution that we talked about earlier when we elevated Dwight back into the full-time status. If you remember, he came in and we agreed that, correct me if I'm wrong, that he would need that part-time position if he's going to be on full-time again. So that was the reason for it, to reinstitute it back in. I believe it was then Sean, you took it out?
Correct.
And then after he took it out, we upped Dwight to more full-time status.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. Resolution amending 2014 tentative budget, Board of Legislature, County Executive, sponsored by Wheeler, seconded by Reshkowski. Discussion. Supervisor Wheeler.
Yes, this is for the legislative body to attend the NISAC conferences. It has to be broken down into 2 lines, education and training and travel. I talked to both Putnam County, Dutchess County, and Franklin, and they allot for education and training between $9,000 and $5,000, and they use almost all of it. And for travel, between $6,000 and the least $750. Whatever we don't use would be rolled over. And this is a resource not only to educate us, but also for networking, which is priceless. So I think it's something, and this would allot all of the legislators. Most likely not everyone would go, but at least it gives the ability for us to attend both the one in February and September. Thank you.
So you have 3,000 in that line.
That,
That's all it is tonight?
it's way more than we would need,
That's all it is.
but it's definitely way more, yeah.
Supervisor Quackenbush?
That was my concern, is I didn't know, 3,000 looks a little short to me.
Yeah.
It's-
And if it's, are we just is it geared to designate a legislator or two? Because I don't know how 9 people would go on 3,000.
No.
Maybe they could.
No, you're right.
I'm thinking it's, I'm not saying all 9 would go, but because you have a brand new legislative body and
It would be
they may want to. And I'm just saying, should it be, I don't know what the cost is.
What's the association fee, John?
6,000.
How much?
6,000 is
For
the
the
fee.
association fee? Yeah, it's only,
It's nice,
yeah,
$1,800.
it's not that much.
That shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, that should,
Yeah. And if we have to amend it later on, then we can. But,
I'm good with
no,
this.
yeah, thank you.
yeah, spend my money.
We don't have budget.
Next resolution, we're gonna do that.
Yeah,
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Next up is a resolution amending 2014 tentative budget appropriated fund balance sponsored by Chiara, seconded by Thayer. Discussion?
Yeah, can we get a number of what we,
You have something for us, Sean? You need a little time?
5 minutes, Sean?
Give me 10 seconds.
All right,
Really? I always said you're the best.
pretty good.
put in 8 million, let's see how good the new legislators are with zero.
Second.
Sure.
Let me just clarify that there were 2 resolutions that already incorporate fund balance, correct?
Right,
In the amount of 105 and 78,523.
right.
Correct.
No, I didn't think the second one we did.
We had almost 100,000
The
already.
fact that the changes that we made with respect to the budget reduced to $33,055.
Could you say that again a little louder, please?
A reduction of $33,055.
33,000. That's the net.
Okay, Supervisor Strebe, I saw your hand first.
Yes, Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we insert the number 1.5 million.
I'll agree with that.
We have a second on that? Supervisor Coddington?
Discussion.
Can I ask Sean what that reduction was?
Yeah, I'd like to, yeah.
Because I didn't understand it.
He said 33,000,
33.55.
right? Not counting the 170
What
something.
did that, what did
All
I,
changes that are made in appropriating the 2 resolutions appropriated, you've reduced the budget an additional $33,000. So the tax levy would go from 28, 151, 958, to $33,000 less.
So we reduced it, paid more. We don't need to use more fund now.
John, when you get all these figures, can you tomorrow or sometime this week, give us a reduction by the city and all the towns, what the actual tax levy is? Because some of the towns are gonna go up, you know?
Well, we've got a motion on the floor to use an additional $500,000 in fund balance.
Discussion.
Seconded on that. Discussion, Supervisor Strebe.
Yeah, Chair, just to explain it, there's quite a large increase in the town of Florida. I believe we were up over 4%. And I'm hoping that we can bring that down. I know the county's at 2%, but because of the equalization rate, I believe myself and some others, I think St. Johnsville's in the mix as well.
Can't you hear me?
They're looking at abnormal increases. The equalization rate, I gotta tell you, it seems to have its purpose, but it bugs the hell out of me because it seems like we're always on the short end of the stick.
It's a bad formula.
Always.
increase the prices of houses over there.
Yeah.
If you maintain your home, you pay more. If you let it go to hell, you pay less.
Ridiculous.
Well, there's a hell of a message.
Makes
I can't correct it.
Hang on.
Reduce the snow contract. I want to correct myself.
Yeah, I don't think there's a,
Supervisor DeMaza?
Yeah, I'm totally against it, using any fund balance more than what we've already appropriated. You know, we just had an audit that stated that we're using too much fund balance per year. And then to go ahead and try and basically start this legislature off with a broken leg, basically, okay, by appropriating more fund balance than what we need to. They're going to be looking at, you know, really scrambling around, and certainly I wouldn't want to see any layoffs in the near future, or the first year that they take over as a new legislative body. It's just, I think it's wrong to do, and you know, I question the motive behind that. You know, listen, the equalization rates are what they are, and I still say that this body, majority who have been here quite a few years, have done an excellent job in keeping the tax rate down. The taxes in the town of Amsterdam, even with a slight increase, are still going to be lower than they were in 2006. Sean can give me those figures. That being said, there's not a thing that you can buy today that you bought in 2006 that is any cheaper. But yet, the taxes are lower than what they were in 2006. And I'll say it again, there's not one thing you can buy that you bought in 2006 that's cheaper today, except for your town taxes. So I think I've done a pretty good job being here on this board over the last 14 years, and I'll pat my own self on the back for doing that. Because like I said, it's a job to be here and to take control and to do things that are wise. Leaving this next legislator with less than $1.5 million than what they have now, I think is wrong to do. We shouldn't give them, start them off with a hamstring. It's not a very wise decision. So I'm going to oppose it, vehemently oppose it.
Sean, what'd you have?
Actually, the net effect is an increase of 14,418.
Supervisor Crockett?
The countywide levy is at 2.04%.
Supervisor Quackenbush?
I agree with Supervisor DeMeza wholeheartedly. We have been criticized in the past when we cherry picked. I'll remember back in 2006, 2007, we used 1.6 million in fund balance because the city's number was up and the town of Mohawk's number was up, and we wanted to get them down to exactly what we just talked about a minute ago. We've been criticized for it. You know, we're at a point now that we've produced a budget for the new legislature and the taxpayers of this county. It's not burdening anyone, and to take more of that money that, you know, most here will no longer be in charge of, I think would just be inappropriate, not fair to the legislature, not fair to the county executive.
Sure.
I'm in favor of leaving it alone.
Supervisor Strebe, then Supervisor Barone.
Chair, just to explain myself, when my people sent me out here, and I realize this is my last year, they expect me to bring home the lowest possible tax that I can. I'm making my argument. You may not agree with me, but I'm making my argument. Just so everybody doesn't think I'm like dastardly deed after this meeting.
Supervisor Barone.
And speaking to what Tom was saying, we amassed a $21 million fund balance. That's why everybody was pissed at. We were sitting on $21 million. Come on. We depleted it all down to where it was now. And we're still going to, you know, the sales tax is up, everything is up. You know, you're not going to hurt any legislator that's coming in here. They'll be well set with what's left, no matter whether you take 10 million off of here. It's still going to come by. This county always seems to dig its way out of a hole. We pay more for lawyers. We give lawyers more money than we give back to the taxpayer. That's what we love doing that, though. We'll sit here and go give that lawyer $500,000. Now we care. The taxpayer, no. The hell with the taxpayer. Well, I'm leaving here and going to my new office in Amsterdam. So I wish I could take 4 million with me to Amsterdam, because we'll probably need it. But I'm going to vote for the 1.5 to help the towns out, and the city also. Thank you.
Supervisor Coddington.
I'm on the same page with Bill and Ron on this one, and the town of Glen right now, I think is the budget was here before we started chopping at it tonight here. I think our increase was looking at 8.5%. And I think that, I think town of Canterbury is not far from that, and I think that's plenty as far as I'm concerned. Most town of St. Johnsville got whacked last year quite bad. And I agree with Ron. I think if we have any faith whatsoever in our country and our county, and the economy's improving, and the whole 9 yards of sales tax will go up, mortgage taxes will go up, and I just get a feeling that by using another $500,000, that fund balance, nobody's going to roll over and die over it.
I agree.
So I'm supporting it.
Well, I agree with you. I think not only are you going to use that additional $500,000 of fund balance, but I believe next year you're going to see again another year where the fund balance increased. So I'm going to support it myself. So with that, on this amendment,
I want to thank Supervisor Street.
the amendment is to change that to $1.5 million. So roll call on that amendment, please.
Supervisor Strebe?
Yes.
Supervisor Coddington?
Yes.
Supervisor Quackenbush?
No.
Supervisor Rashkowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Sweet?
Yes.
Chairman Thayer?
Yes.
Supervisor Stagliano?
Yes.
Supervisor Barone?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Chaira?
Yes, absolutely.
Supervisor DeMeza?
No.
Supervisor Allen?
Yes.
Yes.
Supervisor Sullivan?
Yes.
Pass.
Resolution as amended. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
2 opposing. Quackenbush and abstentions?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there anything from the floor before we do that?
Yes, I do.
Supervisor Barone?
I want to apologize to the new legislators tonight, because I have to leave. I have another meeting to go to, and I'm sorry, but I have business in the city now, so I have another hat to wear.
Motion to adjourn?
You got it.
Hey, this is your primary job.
I'm always voting for that.